Y'all want some more coffee? Hello? Y'all want some more coffee?
Not yet.
Okay. Making coffee, especially without using the type of coffee they sold in prison, sold in jail, commissary coffee. Going through the process of brewing the coffee, and making the coffee, and not just for myself, for my coworkers, that I'm able to use a coffee pot, that I'm able to use this type of little gizmo that once upon a time I didn't even know how to operate. This a blessing that I'm able to wipe the water that I just built from like I said, a coffee machine that I didn't know how to operate when I first got here. That literally, it took my co-workers to teach me how to use. Yes, it's like being a baby again, being a toddler, and being needed to be guided on everything in life, even as simple things as making coffee. It's an honor itself. It's just a smell of freedom. Alice, whose cupcakes are these? Little cupcakes. They're yours?
Is it possible for us individually to rehabilitate? 100%. And even against all odds, even when people are pushing against you not to change, because ultimately it's up to us to rehabilitate, it's up to us to change. And if we're given those avenues and the tools to be able to change, we will change.
This is the place, this is where I want to be at, you know what I'm saying?
I was blessed to be given a chance by Precious Blood Ministry of Reconciliation to be part of a housing program. And it's a housing program available to return impacted citizens like myself.
I'm glad that you actually are staying committed.
My friend, my partner, good peoples, one of my advocates, mentor, Joseph Matt, right?
We try to live out the restorative model of giving people who were system impacted a chance, myself being one of them.
It was like breathing fresh air when I found out that he became the program director for Precious Blood Ministry of Reconciliation.
My family don't understand why I choose to live in a housing program, right? When they have plenty of place for me, right? And then I tell them, listen, it's not just the roof over my head. It's the environment that I'm returning to.
The program with the rent is that Precious Blood, this is a non-for-profit organization. They cannot profit from the housing. So what they do is that they collect that money, they save it for you, give you that money back, and double it. They will match that money for the simple strength of you having enough money to have a down payment, security for an apartment, and enough money maybe for 2-3 months rent. That's one of the blessings that I was fortunate to have. I grew up in several cities. Like my family moved from places to places, but I spent majority of my time in Chicago, between Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York. Chicago was the first city I lived in the mainland United States. We moved from Puerto Rico when I was 10 years old. Family problems, and my mother escaping abuse, verbal abuse, which is the worst anyways. And she grabbed me and my siblings and moved us to Humboldt Park. I was about 10 years old. And because of my little gang-banging affiliations as a kid, at age 10, I caught my first case. Like, at 11, I got caught with a gun. And by age 12, 13-ish, I got caught with crack cocaine. was sent to a juvenile hall for 2 to 4 months. I turned that 2 to 4 months to 2.5 years. I didn't come home till I was 15 and a half. Coming up, I know I did a lot of crazy stuff, and that at any given time, the police would come and pick me up. I was told that one of the little fellas had got killed. And he was 15 years old. And we literally could see the homicide detectives putting the sheet over the kid's head, over the body. I didn't believe in sending somebody off, like giving a gun to somebody else to do harm to somebody else. I felt it was my obligation. The kid should have never been part of the block. She should have never been part of the gang. Immediately, it just like triggered something. I gotta retaliate, you know? Then it just dramatically, I just took that life. It was just no longer a wannabe, that was me. You know, and I was always told that by age 21 I was gonna die. That either I was gonna die or I was gonna spend the rest of my life in prison. The self-fulfilling prophecy, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, everybody see this, so that must be true, you know, this is who I am. But by age 20, before I caught this case, I had so much in the streets and in and out the system that I was already tired and I was ready to change. That was the last day from that point that I was incarcerated to April 7th of this year. And I've done almost 21 years. Nine months before I came home, I believe, and it's like in one of the peaks of the pandemic. Now I'm getting scared, because now it's like, okay, it's getting here. I no longer can tell people I got 2 years left, 3 years left, 1 year left. I'm into the months now. And the months now are flying. And I'm thinking, okay, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna have furniture? Am I gonna have food? Am I gonna be living? Because my state of mind at that moment was that I was going into a halfway house with a bunch of other dudes. I didn't know that we actually get an apartment. First impression, you know, I want to be able to, people to understand that I could wear the cheapest of clothes and still look good. The clothes don't make me look good. I make the clothes look good. You know what I'm saying? I still hate the fact of individuals showing me their ass cheeks. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that my father like cultivated in me and it remained, you know. And especially being in a culture in prison that a lot of times it's like we attribute to an individual sagging their pants and as you exhibiting yourself, you know what I'm saying? You know, and that's a no-no in prison, you know? That's when people ask me, man, how is it, man, that did it hit you? When did it hit you? And I'm like, bro, it haven't hit me yet. Being free haven't hit me yet. Despite the fact that I enjoy freedom, despite the fact that I am free, I'm still afraid to open my keys. I'm afraid of getting home at a certain time because of the fear of what the streets got, what I notice in the streets, the mentality of individuals. So the good feeling to open the key from coming for work.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's a culture shock. Hearing the little creaks of the wall, the floor. You know how late at night, when everything's quiet, you hear the little noises in the house? And I will get up and I would check the windows, and I'm like, 'cause I literally thought that somebody was gonna come in through the windows on me. For the first time, I was actually witnessing trauma, 'cause I understood trauma. And I understood the little sensation that we go through, that the body let us know that, man, you about to snap, stop, you know? Now I'm like, whoa, I went through a lot of stuff. And I'm like, I grabbed a knife. Literally, I went into the kitchen and I grabbed one of them butcher knives. And for the first month of being out, I slept with this big old knife under my pillow. The crazy part is that I do this. This is when I'm off, when I'm working from home, I'm fully clean. Anything that's hidden, don't get clean. In prison, we call it hygienic challenge. You know what I'm saying? So, because in prison we live in a small space that is a bathroom slash bedroom slash dining room slash living room slash study hall slash. I was tired in and out of SIG, the whole, a prison within prison, 24 hours a day in a cage. And most of my SIG sentences or periods was because I was fighting with cellies. So after a while, I have to say, okay, it's a fact that it's not them, it's me. So now, in order for me to fix this, I gotta see what's ticking inside of me that bothers me so much that I'm fighting these individuals. So what I did, I came with a solution. I said, I just not gonna expect cellmates to automatically clean. Because I refuse to feel like I'm living in a jail cell. It's a society part of my everyday living, no doubt about that. Like, I eat, I poop, and I sleep in society. To be able to have been locked up for 20 plus years and come home to a world that was no longer that world when I first got incarcerated is, as a returning citizen, I wear that on my sleeve day and night. I fear that the smallest thing might land me back in prison. So anxiety is my best friend and my enemy at the same time. Why my best friend? Because it keeps me on my square. And I say my enemy because it's too much anxiety. And if I don't recognize that and get too lax with it, you cannot just believe that there's no other way. For years, I never told someone good morning. Literally, I've been with cellmates that I never spoke to. Only excuse me, let me get by. That's it. Hey, Celia, you going out? They said close the door, I'm closing this door. Or Joe, I gotta go to school. You need this door open? Those type of words. I never say goodbye, good night, good morning. And yeah, the thanks, you're welcome and stuff like that, because that's just natural. It's something that out of respect.
So take your time and stay right here to open it up.
I got you.
Trauma is real, and until we're put in that situation to really understand how much we've been traumatized, then we never would know how is it in that moment. How does it feel telling another person wholeheartedly, good morning?
That's a good workout. That's a good warm-up workout.
I love people wholeheartedly, but it's hard for me to show it. It's hard for me to, and sometimes when I do show affection, it's like come off the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like being seen as phony. His name is Marcelo. I named him after myself. I remember the day I came home, April 7th, right? 2022. And making it to Chicago, and me and my two sisters and my mother being hungry. But I wanted to see him first. That's the first thing I wanted to do.
So why you gotta really assume immediately that a person gotta be aggressive with you, bro?
Nah, bro, that's just the way you answered the phone.
This is not the first time.
It's not this. It's not just me, and I don't talk to you no type of way for you to feel like you can talk to me like that. If you were to talk to my mother on the phone, would you respond to my mother in a way that like that? Would you talk
Like
to
what?
her?
All I said was, I'm heading that way.
But you
Obviously,
you said it in an aggressive tone of voice. I wouldn't have took it that way if it wasn't like that. I'm not talking to you no type of way, so don't talk to me like that. One thing that it's hard for him to accept the advice that I give him because he expects it from someone who is his age or older. He doesn't expect to hear that from me, who is his son.
The only way a person can correct something if you actually pinpoint.
Well, I just pinpointed it. And one thing I always tell him is, like, I've been through these things to know when and what is right, and I'm not always correct. I'm not trying to say that I'm smarter than him, but in some aspects, I can show him things that he probably doesn't know.
You could probably just take a walk this way and then walk this way.
Reconnecting with a son of mine that was born roughly a few months after I caught my case and I had not spent not a single day with him in the free world. My question was, how do I balance that? How can I be a father without being too hard on him because I don't have the rights to do so?
I hate when you be doing that, bro. I just like, cause it makes me feel like you really don't really want me here, bro.
His mother was his father. His mother was his mother. His mother was his everything. And then the individual that actually raised him, that I love him to death, God bless his soul, you know, that actually became my brother, was killed just 2 years ago. How do I come out and be able to make this individual understand that I'm not coming in here to rule anything in your life? That I'm your father, I'm your dad, I'm your friend, and we could go from there. You don't have to be afraid.
You wanna give me your toy?
Seeing him with my daughter makes me feel like if he never went to prison, he would have been a great father. The only thing is me and him both feel like he needed that, because if he would have never went down the path that he went down and the events that took place never took place, he'd probably be dead. He needed those lessons in life to take him where he needed to go, and now he's back out and he's a completely changed person.
Look. Bendición.
Dios te bendiga.
¿Dónde está?
¿Estás solo?
No.
Ay.
Vente. Entra más. Oh, it's a big difference holding my mom's hand if I'm just opposed to holding her hand in a visiting room and in a prison jail versus holding her hand in the backyard of a friend of mine. It's priceless.
There's things that like they're out of our hands, but the only my faith is the one that's gonna help me. And I'm telling him that he has to take care of himself and like rest and don't work too hard. He's working too hard. Like he was like 21 years, so right now he's free, and I think he wanna grab everything, like do everything at once.
Locked up really didn't comfort me because I was trying to assure that it comfort my mom. And it doesn't comfort me out here either, just give me assurance, you know, or just giving me a peace of mind and still have my mother here. And being in prison and witnessing a friend of mine is not losing but one of their parents, but losing both. And me always asking God, please, don't let me go through that.
I'm so I'm happy because I have him like again with me, because 21 years is a long time.
How do I balance having my mother? How do I balance going to school and being able that I keep up with my studies while working 2 jobs? Reconnecting with a son of mine that was born roughly a few months after I caught my case, and I had not spent not a single day with him in the free world. My question was, how do I balance that? When I started working here out of restored justice, people hear about being an apprentice and they automatically think that we don't get paid or that we get paid little. And we're not. We get a salary.
I think what would be helpful is to think about the work that you did, Marcelo, here, where you were thinking about what you would say to a legislator about how long sentences don't make us safer.
Despite the fact that I was sentenced to 45 years, it didn't take no 45 years for me to be able to understand that I needed to change.
I think our experience in IDOC gives us more credence to come home and advocate for these kind of issues.
Right now, at this moment, my project is to shadow, to learn how to become a lobbyist.
Hello, Rep. How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Welcome to Restore Justice.
It's quiet.
It's
Y'all make a lot of noise, but it's quiet right now. So I like that.
And you'd be surprised, because before coming here, who would have thought a bunch of white ladies be helping a bunch of black and brown people, you know, be able to be successful when they come home. Come here, where you going? Come here, Joe. Yeah. Come here.
I was gonna try to creep away.
I didn't
This
dress
is
up
the
tonight.
one that made it happen for all of us.
Not really.
Jovi Cates.
Nice to see you. Welcome to our home.
This was to see my everyday dealings. And in my everyday dealings, I deal with, due to my apprenticeship and what we do here in Restore Justice. And the main goal here in Restore Justice is to be able to affect, influence, and change policies. And policies in the sense of criminal justice reforms. By the grace of God and Restore Justice and people like Jovi Case and them, we getting a chance to actually have a second chance. Yes, I would love my record to be clean. Why? Because there are things in life that I would love to conquer, that I would love to be part of. That record will not allow me to be in those spaces. And the fact is that people are realizing the injustice is happening in and out the system, by the system, right? Laws been passed that now allows me, after, I believe, 5 years after I'm off parole, that I can actually get my record not only sponged completely, but a seal. If I could succeed and be successful, why not bring others with me, right?
Exactly.
You know? Did I ever imagine myself being in this side of the fence? Hell no. Because at once upon a time, I was looking at politicians that full of individuals, you know, worthless. Not until I really started getting into political science in college that I started learning the ins and outs of what makes society spin.
And I think you're right. My father, he was a felon. He served his time, got out, seen all types of areas with him and the struggles that he had to go through. And so doing this work is really passionate for me. It's personal. And I don't think that we should, limit anyone from being able to take care of their families.
I was fortunate to at least not only get 2 associate's degree while I was incarcerated, and it took effort for me to do that, not because it was just being handed out.
Right.
And despite the fact that I was able to get 50 credits, almost 50 credits, upper level credits with the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, the university still got a box banning ex-convicted felons. And unless legislation is being pursued, and not only pursued, but secure and put into the laws,
this university is going to continue to use this little box to
Discriminate.
Yeah, to discriminate.
To discriminate.
When I first went to the Department of Corrections, I couldn't neither read nor write in both of my languages. My L1 is Spanish, and I wasn't able to read or write in Spanish. You know, even in my native language, it was broken. And once I got in school and I was given that chance, I never looked back. Then for my GED after 3 months, I got in college. 2-3 years later, I got my first associates. A year later, I got my second associates. Then I ended up being rolling in upper level courses with the University of Illinois at Danville. I earned like 50 credits, and at this moment, I need like 21 residential credits to get my bachelor's degree. I took advantage, and I had connections that I was able to take 3 to 5 classes in the semester for me to be able, breaking my back, for me to be able to get my certificates and my degrees. Ten years from now, I will be 51 years old. And one thing that really used to get me was the fear of aging, especially aging in a jail cell, the fear of dying in prison, right? My thing is that I'm always excited to come and work for Restore Justice because I know we make a change. And as long as I'm part of that change, I feel that I'm worthy. That I'm worthy the effort. I'm worthy people's love and caring for me. And if I can get that energy from a human being that is that positive energy that allows me to put a smile on my face, you know, because once again I said I'm a victor, I'm not a victim. When they said you're a Vic, yeah, I'm a victor, right? You know, victorious.